All right, guys. Listen, I want to welcome my beautiful wife, Morgan, here today. We're going to be talking about choosing a firearm. So, before we get started, let me just say that, clearly the topic of personal protection, having a firearm for protection, it's a very politically charged conversation. I don't want to get into the politics around it. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming that one of two things is happening. Either you're on the fence about potentially purchasing a firearm and you just really don't know where to start, or you've already made the decision and you're unsure what to get or what to pick up. So, it's been a long process for you to get to the point where you were comfortable and willing to carry a firearm. So before we get into, the hardware of firearms, like kind of what was your own personal journey towards kind of just deciding to carry a firearm for protection?
Um, well, I don't know. You have been doing this a very long time.
Okay,
And
true.
so I've been around firearms my whole life, but not in a handgun capacity. So I've never really thought about it before until doing changes that you did. So, I mean, I think just hearing you, watching you, and seeing you, just with everything, and not to make it political, but especially through the politicalness of what we live through, I just decided, like, if I'm going to, clearly somewhere we live, we have to have a concealed carry permit to even carry. So
Right.
that was
Yep.
kind of the first step, is just going, okay, I'm going to go ahead and apply for that. And then that process was 7 months from applying to actually getting the license. And then, I mean, once I had the license, I mean, I knew it was coming once I got the okay. So it wasn't a big, reveal for me, or like a light bulb that went off that's like, oh man, I better do this, as much as it was just, I think, being around you and being around them and being around the conversations surrounding everything about personal protection is just, it was more of an easement for me. It wasn't a light bulb situation. It's just like enough time has passed where I'm like, I can do this. I can carry a firearm. I can feel comfortable having that responsibility, if
Yeah, I
that
mean,
makes sense.
it
It
was
wasn't
literally,
quick.
yeah,
It was a long process
it
for
was a
me, but
6 year process. Like from the time
right.
that we, I don't think that most people realize, like we, got together in 2016. It wasn't really until 2020 that I even thought
Right,
about carrying a
we
firearm.
had firearms, like, or you did, at the
Yeah,
house, and
just for my old
for
security
your,
work and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And so, and I knew where they were, and you always told me however they were, whether it was loaded, unloaded, where ammo was, like, so none of that, I think, was anything. I liked that. I know that might sound stupid. I liked that about you, that you were comfortable enough, even before security work permanently, like that you were comfortable enough to have that. But just me personally, and carrying every day, it was just, I think, politically surrounding everything and how that could go. I would rather be in a position where I have the concealed carry license and the option to carry than to be in a situation where we live somewhere where now I don't have that option, number one, because it's taken away, or whatever laws are passed, or that it takes years to attain that. So that was kind of the tipping point for me personally, was knowing what was happening in our county, go ahead and get the license. And now I'm at the point where I do think about it every day, every time I pick up my bag and
well, let me
whatever.
ask you this. You had said something that really resonated with me last year. I think it was last year, yeah, because we were here at the house and we were talking about carrying a firearm, and you said that, like, you what how did you say it? You were like, I would, if I'm going to get attacked or I'm going to get and that's just God's will. I don't want to feel like I have to carry a firearm. And that, like, broke my heart to think that you, for whatever reason, like, had relegated yourself to being a victim. Like, what was the thing that changed to where you're like, no, like, now I'm willing to have that responsibility of having a firearm and not be a victim, where just like a year ago you were like, no, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I have to carry a firearm.
Well, this we can get into a debate with later. It's not a victim mentality. It's my own personal thought. If whether I have a gun or not, if something like that is going to happen, it's going to happen. If that makes sense. So even if I have a firearm, that does not stop someone from attempting or trying or attacking me and succeeding any one of the steps within that, because I can't control what anyone else does.
Right.
So I still think that. I still think if something like that is going to happen, it's going to happen. The only difference is now I have a more sure chance than I did before with just hands, feet, like things, whether it's running away or attacking back, so to speak, or like defending myself.
It's a tool. It's a
tool. I have a tool now that, honest to God, it can stop the bad thing from happening immediately. Right. I'm not saying it will, but it can. Right. So
that's the moral conversation that people have to have within themselves, and I'm allowing for people to come to that realization on their own. I don't agree with it. To me, the idea of having something that can be an equalizer in a situation where otherwise I would have to be a victim or you have to be a victim, it's an easy decision for me. But it's not for everybody. And I think that as gun owners, specifically if we're taking the responsibility of being an instructor or trying to help facilitate ownership to other people, you have to give some leniency to let people work that out. And I know that I haven't always been very good at that.
No, I want to interrupt you, and I know this is your video, so I'll make it quick. Like, you've never pressured me into carrying a gun, and you do this. Like, you do security, you work in shit ass situations every single day, and not just your day-to-day job, all the other jobs that you've had within, like, different places that you've done that. Like, but you've never pressured me, and you've never been like, I need you to carry, I want you to carry. You've literally asked the same thing you ask people, or that you bring conversations up, is how you talk to me. And I appreciate that, because you've never been like, you need to do this. You've just asked me what you ask everyone else. Why don't you? And then we talk about scenarios, or we talk situations, and you've never pressured me, which again has been how I think it's been helpful. Now, if you demanded it of me, I mean, I take you seriously, and I'd probably be like, okay. Right. But no, you've not treated me any different than how you communicate, I think, with everyone else on your video.
So that's good to know, right?
I know you're passionate, but
so let's get to the hardware. One of the big issues that I see when most people make the decision to finally purchase a firearm, and let's just stick to the females. I spend a lot of time, I think you would agree, I spend a lot of time at gun stores, right? And on any given time that I'm there, a female will walk into the store, right? Or even a guy that's new to firearms walk into the store, and they go up to the counter, and all of us know the people that work in a gun store, they're gun guys, right? They're generally all carrying, they're all, they have tricked out firearms, and a person will walk up to the counter and say, hey, I'm interested in getting my first firearm. And what I see almost every single time is that the guy will pull out from his own waistband or from somewhere within the stash of firearms that they have, and this is a Glock 17. It's unloaded. There's nothing in the magazine, nothing in the chamber. They'll pull out a firearm similar to this,
John Wick style.
John fucking Wick style, and they'll be like, "This is what you need, 5'4" female that works in a library. You need a Glock." Generally, it's a Glock 19. They'll say you need a Glock 19, and it's got a light on it, and it's got, an attachment here for a magazine extender, and it's all tactical looking. And they'll take the gun, and they'll do like the press check, and, drop the magazine, and here you go, ma'am. And the lady's like, the fuck is this shit, right? And I see that all the time. You don't need that. You don't need that, right? Another thing that I see is that females and people that are new to firearms will be handed something like this. Now this, again, empty magazine, okay? Nothing in the chamber. This is a Glock 26. This is a smaller, what we would call subcompact. Now, this is a much better option for a new shooter than, say, something like this. But the problem is that still leaves a lot to be learned in terms of being able to rack the slide, being able to drop the slide, being able to manipulate the magazines. If you have a light, can you operate the light? Are you comfortable utilizing a firearm that either has a safety or doesn't have a safety? And we haven't even gotten to the issue of Where do you carry this if you're going to conceal carry? Is it going to go on your body, your pocket, into a purse, something similar to that? So one of the things that I have always tried to get across to people who are new shooters, and please excuse my dog, we have one dog that just will never shut up, is that you can utilize something simple like a snub nose revolver, okay? So this is a 38 special, okay? There's no rounds in the firearm. This is what's called a J-frame. It's very, very light. There's nothing to it other than the fact that it has a cylinder. It has 5 shots. It's pretty easy to conceal. You can put it in a purse. You can put it in a handbag. You can wear it on your body. And you're not having to rack a slide, work a safety, do a lot of manipulation with this firearm. It's very simple. You take it, you point it, you put it right in front of the person that you're dealing with, and you cycle the trigger. Very, very easy. When you first had your opportunity to shoot the Smith & Wesson, the J-frame, what did you think of that versus what you had shot before, like when you went through your concealed carry class?
That one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I liked the concealed carry class, and I know I came home, which we had talked about handguns a lot and different types of handguns, and I liked the concealed carry class even though it wasn't live fire, but it had that safety, the trigger safety.
Yep.
And that was something going through that 2 or 3 hour class and all of the shooting that we did, I really liked that trigger safety. And I came home thinking like, man, I might want a gun like that because I like that stopping point, but I also hadn't shot too many handguns where I was still flinching, anticipating pulling the trigger. So having that trigger safety like really helped me because you get to that stopping point and then I know just beyond that, the gun's going to go off.
Yep.
So like it mentally helped me, except for when now you and I, would go shooting. It's about comfortability, I think, within those. But I'm not someone who's going to become Mrs. Joan Wick.
Right.
So because I'm not going to do that, I need simple steps.
Yep.
Me personally.
Yep.
And that is with anything, whether it's your firearms, the firearms, that I'm around, I need it to be simple. I need to be able to remember it as simply as possible because I have no clue and I hope I'm never in a situation where I'm feeling that pressure. But for me, need to be able to point and shoot.
So you're never going to be that person. I mean, and this is completely okay. You're never going to be that person that's going to spend time on the range.
Not an everyday carry.
Training, right.
Not for everyday carry.
Right.
And hence everyday carry for me is clearly for anyone would be for self-protection and to have that. And so, I don't need to be thinking about 2 or 3 different things.
Yeah.
Or even when I'm not in that situation every day, I don't want to have to run through these rules and hope that when someone bashes my window in, if I'm sitting in a car or someone tries to run up on me in a parking lot or something like that, that I'm remembering those 2 or 3 things that I have to do. Honest to God, I just need to have a finger on the trigger and pull it. And that's that's all I need. So that was.
So did this become a better option for you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I can't walk around with a shotgun, otherwise I would
Right.
do that. So that is the next best thing.
So we'll make more videos, kind of expanding on all of this, but I just wanted to kind of go over that journey, specifically that Morgan had to get from the point of not wanting to carry a firearm to carrying a firearm, and then being able to just kind of find something that was a little bit less intimidating than this, right? Something that didn't still take the time, the effort, and understanding to operate like a semi-automatic, which, this can be learned very, very easily, but a lot of people don't want to have to go through that. And then having that point of protection for yourself and finding something that's a little bit more simple, a little bit more effective. Look, this gun's been around for, 170 some odd, 180 some odd years. It's been very, very effective. The West was one with a revolver. The J-frame has been something that has been in use for police and bodyguards and law enforcement since the 1930s. This technology, although it's a little bit older, it still works and it's very, very effective, and it does not take a lot of time and effort. You still have to put rounds through it to be able to aim it and shoot it at a distance. But if we're talking about getting someone off of you, getting someone away from you, breaking that contact, This is a great option for new shooters and first-time owners of firearms. All right? You guys be great.